Hey guys, welcome back to Distracted, or welcome to Distracted, because this is our first ever video, and I am beyond nervous. Like, I'm sweating over here like a pig, okay? I'm like in my own little corner just having a little mental breakdown. I don't know why this is so nerve-wracking for me, because I'm on camera all the time. I do loads of YouTube videos all the time, loads of photos all the time. Like, you guys, see me everywhere. You can even hear it in my voice. I'm like, why am I so nervous? But this is just like a very different type of format for me. So even when I did my first like Twitch stream, for example, I was like melting. I was so goddamn nervous. Something about long form content makes me a lot more nervous, but also makes me a lot more excited to do, because there's more to it. There's more value. There's so much more you can actually get from having long conversations rather than just like a short, like, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking so fast usually in my videos just to try and like get it all out and not make it too long so I don't, bore people. I'm usually trying to speak so fast to actually like, make sure everyone's entertained all the way through the video. Whereas this is nerve-wracking to me because I'm actually sat down here having like long form conversations with you guys. So obviously it's a lot more me, not to say that I'm acting in my YouTube videos, but I'm definitely like accentuating my excitability, I guess. Like, I'm the best version of myself in that like 10-minute YouTube video, whereas on a podcast you really can't like not be someone else, but you can't put on that like extra happy persona for that extended period of time. It just doesn't, you can't do it. I'll see like a lot of YouTubers coming into the podcast space and they'll try and keep up that energy that they do in their YouTube videos on a podcast, and it just doesn't work. Like you burn yourself out, you tire yourself out. So that's really not the approach I'm trying to take with this. I just want to be like my normal self, like as I would be just chatting to a friend on a random Tuesday afternoon, And I feel like long form content is definitely right up my alley because I can talk for goddamn England if I really needed to. I'm not even English, but I can talk for England. I love it. I love sitting down and having like long conversations with my friends, and talking about real shit, I probably will have to bleep out the swear words in this because otherwise I can't monetize the videos, but I don't know. We'll see, okay? But yeah, so this is definitely more my style, and I've been so excited to try it out because sometimes I feel like with what I do, it kind of lacks a bit of substance. I talked about this a little bit on my Instagram story as well, but I really wanted a platform where I could talk freely about anything. There's so many things I have to like say, and sometimes I feel like I can't really do that on the platforms that I have. My Instagram is very fitness oriented, my YouTube very fitness oriented, and I feel like that's what a lot of people follow me for. So I understand that like probably not that many people are going to want to watch this. The 10 people out there that are watching, hi, I see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this. So I do understand that, even if 10 people watch this, I am more than happy because I need an outlet. Like I need to talk, I need to get stuff out. I need to actually like feel like I'm providing something of value and something that will, really entertain people or change someone's life or really help someone through a tough patch, really help someone to get that motivation or to, relate to someone on their mental health or dating or being bullied in school or being like, a non-native in a native country. No, that doesn't make any sense. But being like in a country that they weren't born in and the struggles of that. Like there's so much I have to, I guess, talk about and offer in terms of like, I want to help people. I want to feel like I'm contributing in some way in like, not just shallow shit, not just like grow a booty, not just like get some abs. Like that stuff's all great and there's nothing wrong with like getting goals and, wanting your physique to look a certain way. But it does lack some value sometimes for me. It lacks substance. It lacks like me feeling like I'm actually doing some sort of good and some sort of like genuinely sort of more profound, this is getting deep, but like more profound help for someone, and genuinely like you know, feeling like going to bed at night and being like, damn, like that message I got from someone about like the story I told about bullying, and like they related so much to it and it really helped them out. Like that shit to me, oh my God, like you guys don't understand. Like that is the best feeling in the world. Like no doubt at all, the best feeling in the whole entire goddamn world. And that's what I want more of, really, because I've done videos like that in the past on my, you know, main YouTube channel, or even the Alphalete video I did, which got such amazing feedback, guys. Thank you so much for all the DMs about that video. It really meant a lot. And, you know, from all of the comments and the DMs I got from those type of videos, like, they were the ones that really stuck with me and really, like, made me happy on a deeper level than just like helping someone get a booty. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stop doing that. Don't get me wrong. I still love fitness. Huge passion of mine that I won't stop my other pages. I won't stop my other YouTube channel. They're staying there. Like nothing's changing. But it's nice to have this kind of platform, and I'm glad that I actually got the courage to start it, because I've been thinking about doing this for months, literally since maybe like a year ago even. I kind of wanted to do it, but I was like, nah, like no one's gonna watch, no one's gonna give a shit about this kind of stuff, because obviously you're here for fitness. And I was just scared, to be honest with you. I was really scared. This kind of format really scares me because it's a lot more of like you know? There's a lot more of me in this. Actually sitting down and talking for like an hour or something every week or every other week or however many times. I'm going to try and upload on here as much as I humanly possibly have time for. And then obviously if it grows decently, we'll maybe do like a weekly schedule where we do it like every Wednesday or something. But yeah, that kind of stuff, like it scares me because it's a lot more of you, a lot more of your actual personality, and you can't like hide stuff like under a 10-minute YouTube video, you know what I mean? Or you can hide stuff under a 10-minute YouTube video, but you can't hide stuff when you're sat down talking for hours and hours and hours. People see right through it. People just see who you are to the core, you know? They just in there deep, and they just see everything about you. They see into your soul, and you're like, okay, great. Like, damn. So I feel like judgment and criticism on this end of the spectrum, when you are doing more long form content, hits a little harder, you know? It just cuts a little deeper. And I experienced that first like on Twitch when I was doing weekly streams and stuff. Those kind of criticisms cut a lot harder than trust me, I get hate. Like I get hate on my Instagram, I get hate on my main YouTube channel. It happens. If you're online and if you're exposing yourself to the masses, it's gonna happen. And I'm okay with that. Like I am completely okay with that. It's what I signed up for. Whatever, go on, hate on me, I don't care. But it's, you know, when people are commenting like horrible stuff under a photo, well, you just think to yourself, well, you don't know who I am. Like, you don't know my personality. You don't know what I'm actually like. And same goes for like a 10-minute YouTube video. You know, if you're doing a 10-minute YouTube video on how to grow your booty or whatever, and someone's like commenting some really rude ass shit on there, to you it's kind of like, well, I don't really give a shit. Like, you don't know who I am. Like, you're seeing a 10-minute clip of me that's edited, and, you know, I put in just the bits that I want you to see. And this is very different, because this is like, you know, me to the core. Like, I'm talking for extended periods of time. So when someone, like, I guess, criticizes you when you are talking for, like, you're showing a lot more of yourself, you're being a lot more vulnerable almost, with this kind of setup, then it cuts a little deeper, you know? It just, like, I don't want it to, because I usually am, like, quite strong with that kind of stuff, but it does cut a little deeper than your usual thing. I think that's the reason I'm so like scared to start. I don't care if this only gets like 10 people viewing. Like, the views for me on this channel is not something I care about. Obviously, it would be amazing if this did grow and get bigger and evolve into something way bigger. 100%, of course I'd want that. But at the same time, I'm just happy having like an outlet, you know, happy having like a place to talk, a place to chat, a place that I can even help, like whether it be 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, however many people, I'm happy with that. But anyway, not to stick on that topic for too long, we just went on a ramble there, and we're already like 13 minutes in. Ow, did you hear that? What the fuck? But basically, not to ramble on too much, because I do have points that I want to hit. I kind of made a little list of stuff that I want to talk about, which is very podcast-esque of me. Let me just have a little drink, because I am overheating, okay? My systems are boiling. I'm overheating. My literally, like, my ear is starting to, like, all the blood is going to my ear. I don't know why, of all the places it's going to my ear, but I'm definitely overheating, and I'm having like a little mini stroke right now. Just because I'm so nervous. So let me just have a little sip of my drink and we'll get right to it. You're probably wondering, Bella, what the hell is this podcast going to be about? Like, what is going on? Where the hell are you? Like, what is this setup? Okay, it's ridiculous. This is pathetic. Like, you couldn't even do a better setup than this. I know, okay? Don't attack me quite yet. I'm just starting out, so obviously this setup hopefully will improve over time. But what we're going to cover on the podcast, we're going to talk about mental health, we're going to talk about business, we're going to talk about motivation, dating, fitness advice. We're also just going to chat shit sometimes, if there's a little bit of internet drama, if there's a little bit of beef going on that we want to just have a little rant about, have a little chat about, we're going to talk about that too. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on the internet right now. Logan versus Floyd as well in a month, which is just, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, when? How? Where did that, how did that come about? But we'll get into that on a different podcast. So there's just loads of, just random internet stuff as well that I want to talk about, or stuff that's trending, stuff in the news, stuff happening in the world. We're obviously going to have guests on as well to cover, their life story, what they've learned, just inspirational people or business people and people we can learn from, or just someone that can be really entertaining. Many types of different types of guests is what I'm trying to say. And we're also going to be talking about so much more. That's just a little basis of things that kind of pop up at the top of my head. But there's so much more I want to cover with this podcast. I don't know if you guys watch Impulsive or Joe Rogan or Call Her Daddy even. So many podcasts that I listen to every single day. I'm a podcast lover. I listen to them all the freaking time, in the shower, when I'm getting ready, when I'm tidying the house, all the time I'm listening to a podcast. So I don't know if you guys know of those three, but I kind of want it to be similar to that, similar to Impulsive, how they have no specific topic, they just talk about everything, they have all types of guests on. That's definitely where I'm going with this podcast. I don't want to be limited in one field, because I've done that with Instagram, I've done that with my other YouTube, and as much as I love fitness and have nothing bad to say about that at all, I'm incredibly grateful for the platform I've been given, and to have you guys support me, incredibly grateful. I just want this to be a space where there are no limitations. I don't want to start off as something and then change my mind down the road. I just want to have ultra free creative expression on this platform, which is something that I've been dying for ever since I stopped streaming. And yeah, there's no boundaries on here. We're gonna maybe do a few podcasts as well where we're answering your life questions, we're helping you out, we're giving you advice. Maybe I have a guest on that's specific in that area, giving dating advice, sex advice, friendship advice, mental health, anything you can think of. This is the place for you, okay? So obviously not every episode might interest you, but I'm sure there will be a few that will. So make sure to subscribe, because all we do over here is get distracted. I'm still trying to think of stupid little catchphrases for the show. So if you have any ideas, please comment them down below. So a life update. A lot of you have been asking for this because I have gotten a few messages being Bella, where the fuck have you gone? You used to be so, I guess, there on social media, so active, so posting all the time, constantly on your stories, just very, very present. Where the fuck have you gone, And I do have an answer for this question. I kind of what I said in the beginning, I've just been feeling it's lacking substance, lacking value. I kind of got bored of posting the same routine over and over again, especially in lockdown, when all the gyms are closed. It just was so hard to keep posting fitness stuff and body oriented stuff and kind of shallow things when I was having a shit time. I'm sure a lot of you were having a shit time. I didn't want to come off as oh, look at me, I'm all put together. I really wasn't. For the past year I've been an absolute fucking train wreck. A terrible, terrible, terrible train wreck. And to be honest with you, like I just haven't really wanted to share that. And I've just been a lot quieter for the past year because of lockdown mostly. My mental health got a little bit shit as well because I was just, I was feeling so lost with my content, so lost with my job. I wanted something like, I guess, I wanted a more meaningful outlet. Hello, here we are. And yeah, I just kind of went a little bit quiet because I felt like I wasn't really doing anyone any favors by posting. I wasn't helping anyone. I was like maybe only making people feel bad if I was posting like, you know, certain fitness photos or fitness like routines and stuff, especially in lockdown when like a lot of people just didn't even have the motivation to get out of bed. And it just, to me, it felt really forced in the past year to do that consistently, even when I personally wasn't feeling up for it. Like in the past year, since lockdown began, I have trained even like home workouts a like handful of times, hardly anything at all. Like I have not kept up to date with it. I focus way more on my mental health and way more on like me just feeling sane throughout the day and not like having little breakdowns, than forcing myself to work out when I really just didn't fucking want to. But now that obviously like COVID is still around, but the lockdown is being lifted, especially here in the UK. All the gyms are back open, the bars are back open. I've definitely gained like a whole like new strain of motivation and just like the willpower to actually like, okay, sick, let's get back into it. Like I'm so motivated right now to really just get back into the whole thing. And I think that year of not really like time off, but a year of more, I'm also a little bit ill at the moment, it's not COVID, don't worry, but that year of having kind of like a less strenuous work routine and definitely giving myself a lot of like freedom and a lot more leniency, definitely a hell of a lot of leniency. Thank you, Alfleet, for sticking by my side. You guys are real ones. I freaking love you to the end of time. Also, code Bella for, you know, any support on Alfleet. Thank you. I'm already plugging. Okay, forget the plugs, okay? But basically, you know, I was really lenient with myself and I was really just taking it easy. You know, we're in a freaking global pandemic. Like, I'm sorry I don't want to work out today, or I'm sorry I just don't feel like getting out of bed today. Like, I felt like shit. And that's completely okay. I think, or I know a lot of people were in the same boat. And it's okay not to be too hard on yourself. Like, we all go through times. We can't just be smashing it and be like, working like non-stop 24/7 because that's just not healthy. It's a balance, 100% it's a balance, and I've definitely learned that over the past year. Obviously I should not be that lenient with myself, but also with everything going on, like it's understandable. And I'm not too angry at myself, but I'm definitely just ready to just get back into living life and like having goals and striving toward things and just being the Bella that I was before lockdown, because I definitely missed her. You know, she definitely took a little bit of a lazy route kind of toll, and I miss it. I think it's nice. Like I feel the most fulfilled and the most satisfied and the most like motivated when I am chasing my goals and chasing my dreams and doing what makes me happy, but also having that discipline. It's not just doing what makes you happy all the time, because then we would never really do anything, but also having that discipline to push yourself and set rules for yourself, set boundaries, set like, you know, a time that you're going to wake up, a time that you're going to go to sleep, a time that you're going to do that type of work, that, or like another time that you're going to do a different type of work, and just having those time blocks. Working Hard, Hardly Working by Grace Beverly, the book, amazing, please read it. We'll also go into that in another episode because that's like a whole nother topic that I want to talk about. But yeah, so having those boundaries and setting those limits for yourself, I think is so important, and especially for me, it actually really does make me happy, and it fulfills me a lot because I know that I'm doing my absolute best in my career and my business. And then when I do go enjoy myself and when I do take time off, I appreciate that time off so much more than when I don't push myself when I'm actually in work mode. So yeah, to me it definitely is a balance. It's just getting that work life, like work enjoyment balance, even, and also meeting them in the middle somewhere. Sometimes it's good to enjoy work. It's great to enjoy work if you can, and if you can do the most you can to enjoy work, then obviously, like, that's like the dream come true, isn't it? If you can actually intertwine both worlds. But there's always going to be times where you're not going to like what you're doing. There's always going to be things, no matter what job you're in, even if you have the best job in the world, there are always going to be times where you don't really like what you're doing, but you have to do it. You just have to get it done. You have to stop being a lazy little pussy and just get it done. Please bleep that word out. A lot of you guys have been asking as well, where has Angelica gone? Angelica, my lovely, lovely, lovely assistant, she is the best person in the entire world, and I miss her so freaking much. But she has moved to Dubai, or she's just currently staying in Dubai with the whole COVID thing, because her parents live over there, so she's obviously staying with family and stuff, which is, you know, completely understandable. Like, I just want her to be happy and want her to do whatever, you know, really, like, brings her more happiness and fulfillment and makes her feel at peace. That is what happened to Angelica, for all of you asking. I know that there were some weird DMs like, did you fire Angelica? I'm like, what? No, I would never. Like, she is the sweetest person ever, and it's just, you know, unfortunate that the whole COVID situation thing happened and she just had to go back home, which is completely fine. No hard feelings whatsoever. I can't wait to see her again and just squeeze her and like go out to even drinks or dinner with her again. So definitely very excited for that. But my life has been a little bit of a struggle trying to balance everything, for sure, because obviously there's, you know, 4 Instagram accounts, a YouTube channel, 2 like brands, 2 businesses, and by no means are like all of them, each of them like the biggest thing ever, like not at all, but you know, trying to grow all of them at the same time is quite difficult, and definitely can be a lot for one person. So having her on board was like a dream come true. She helped me so much. And then since she left, I've sort of had to kind of like balance everything out, and it's been incredibly difficult, especially with like my motivation being so low in the past year. Definitely been quite the difficulty to try and balance everything. So I am looking for a new PA to sort of come in and help with everything. It's just also fun to work with someone. I'm quite a social person. Like, I love talking, clearly. And like having someone that you can work with, that you know, if you're having even like a down day and they bring your spirits up, like that is so valuable. And she was like a pinnacle of light. Like, she's the most bubbly, happy person ever, and having that around really oddly like changes your motivation. Even like, it makes you want to work so much harder, makes you so much more motivated, so much more like ready to go, rather than like being all by yourself all the time doing work. It's definitely hard to motivate yourself when it's just you, and when there are like no, you know, you don't have to be anywhere at a certain time, you don't have to do anything at like an exact certain time. It's very difficult, especially if you're going through like a rough patch, to actually like push yourself and get yourself to do everything you need to. And I know it sounds really easy, but when you're like in a really shitty mental state where you're just feeling like anxious and lost and just, you know, isolated as well, you know, hence COVID, it is quite hard to get that like motivation back and do everything you need to do. So also, by the way, like not all these podcasts are going to be about me. Like, I don't want to just talk about me for hours. But this first one, I think I was just answering a lot of questions that you guys have sent in over the past few months. So I kind of wanted to like clear the air and get everything out in the open. You can only talk about yourself for so long, and you're just like, I'm over myself. I can't hear about myself anymore. Like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I just don't want to hear it. So basically, yeah, I'm just kind of getting everything out in the open, clearing all the air with you guys, and answering all the questions that have been left unanswered for a very long time. So the next big question as well is why I stopped streaming. This is a in-depth one, but I'm going to kind of summarize it a little bit. I absolutely freaking loved streaming so much. Like, it made me so happy. Like, I genuinely, the community, just everyone, like the fucking potato gang, like, oh my god. Even thinking back to it, like, it genuinely made me so happy. However, with streaming, it's very important to, I guess, if you want to do streaming and include it in the business side of things, you have to be on stream a lot. You have to be there for, you know, if you go on a stream, you have to sort of be on stream for 3-4 hours, and usually like 2-3 times a week. So imagine, you know, 4 hours a week plus everything else that I have to do was extremely demanding and extremely exhausting. This is just like the brutal honesty of it, because I feel like I owe you guys like a serious explanation as to why I stopped streaming, because I know we had such a strong community, and it kills me that I can't stream because I genuinely loved it so freaking much. Like, it was so fun. I would be excited for like the end of the day to come so I could actually like sit and stream after like a full day's work and after a full day of filming. Me being exhausted is one, and just basically like all of the other parts of like my business really suffering and taking a massive toll because of it, because I was taking a lot of time out of like my normal YouTube or like my Instagram and like the sort of, you know, Belcia, like a Bella's Fit Guide, a lot of things that were my main like income source, really, like what would pay my bills, what would pay my rent, and what also helps me, you know, to save up for my future and be secure and all that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff was like lacking, and it was taking a toll on that side of my job, I guess. So I couldn't like justify that amount of time with everything else sort of going like downhill. So that's kind of it. I had to just make like a sort of like a really, really, really tough decision, and I had to think a little bit more responsibly, I guess I would say. I had to be a little bit more adult, and as much as I loved it, you can't always just do purely what you love. Something had to give, basically. Like, something had to give, unfortunately. And streaming is very, very, very intense. Like, you have to be there, you have to be present, and it's live. It's for, you know, 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours. Like, sometimes I would stream for like 5-6 hours, which is just insane. And I didn't want to switch it off. Like, I didn't want to go. You know, everyone in the chat as well egging me on, like, stay. And I genuinely didn't want to stop streaming. I didn't want to like switch it off. I didn't want to go to bed, and I didn't have any discipline with it. So it did end up costing me a lot like of other business, other responsibilities, and in the end just didn't quite make sense for everything else that I have to do. Like, I just unfortunately didn't have enough time for it. I feel like the podcast is a nice medium to that, because it's still the same kind of format, and I still get to have like these deep conversations with you guys, still get to do a really similar thing to why I absolutely love streaming so much. Like, this is basically that medium, that healthy medium that I have been looking for, because as much as I was so happy streaming, this is kind of like, I don't have to be actually present for it. I can, you know, maybe record a certain amount of videos in a week and then take some time off and focus on other things, whereas streaming every single week, you had to be there, you had to be live, and you couldn't pre-record anything, you know, you couldn't like adjust the time to what you needed it to be. Yes, that is pretty much it. I'm sorry for the really long deep dive explanation into that, but I thought I really did owe you guys an answer, because I have gotten this question. It's probably the most asked question that I've gotten. Actually, hands down, the most asked question that I have gotten. A few podcast ideas I have, which I want your guys' opinion on, is one, I have a friend downstairs called Dua. She's in the same building as me, and she's Moroccan, I'm Brazilian, so I kind of wanted to get her on as well, talk about like the cultural differences, talk about how it is in Brazil, like school and her school versus here, the massive cultural differences that, especially in Morocco, they have, because they're extremely strict on like women primarily over there. They have some crazy, crazy laws, and get her on, talk about that, talk about a little bit about dating as well, and like how it is to be, you know, relationship versus single, and just have a little bit of a chat about that. I also want to get Mo, Tom and Alex on here. They're some of my best friends, and just have a little chat up with them and just chat shit and just talk about a whole bunch of stuff and what they're doing. I also really want to do a whole podcast as well on the influencer industry, and kind of really talk about some shit that happens behind the scenes that you guys don't get to see. And I want to just, it's not like an expose, but it's more just like a kind of an inside view on what it's really like, not just on my end of things, but like the brand end of things, the business end of things, like the business actual aspect of it, like is it profitable, how does it all work, like just a big podcast on like the influencer space, all of the, I guess, positives and negatives, and all of the shit that, you know, I've sort of been through with, you know, certain situations that you sometimes are put in and you have to learn from. I've definitely learned a lot in my like 3-4 years of doing this. So that's something I wanted to cover as well. If you guys want to hear about that, all of these topics that I'm on about, by the way, please do let me know in the comments down below. That kind of rhymed. I didn't mean for it to rhyme, but please let me know if you do want to like hear that, and if any of those topics sort of appeal to you. I would love to know. And also I got loads of questions as well asking what it was like working for Gymshark versus Alphalete, like, you know, the whole Gymshark situation, which I did cover in a video, but I'm still getting questions about. I think people are just kind of interested to know the business side of things and how brands differ with working with their athletes and I guess influencers, whichever one you want to call it. A lot more as well that I want to cover, but that's just a few little touching the surface of some of the ideas I have. I have this whole book full of ideas that I want to do that I've just been spending like weeks and weeks writing. But yeah, that was the first ever podcast. God damn. Yeah, definitely it will just take me a couple of episodes to like fully adjust because this is such a different thing for me, but I hope I, you know, talked in a not too annoyingly way. I hope it was easy to sort of follow along and comprehend. And please, any opinions, any just criticisms or, you know, maybe not hatred, but like anything that you think I could improve on, I would love to know. I would love to hear anything at all. Give me your opinions, like your full-blown opinions, suggestions, ideas. Just, I want to like really be involved with this community and speak to you guys in the comments every episode and really take on board everything you say. Drop me a comment down below, tell me your opinion, your thoughts, anything at all. I do want to hear from you. And yeah, I guess that's the end of this first podcast. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet about like the Spotify and podcast, I guess, app. I don't exactly know how to get them on there, but I will figure it out this week, and I will probably upload the episodes on there after like this goes live, just in case people do want to just listen to the audio. But I do like the YouTube format. That's where I watch most of my podcasts. So yeah, let me know where you listen to podcasts as well. And that's pretty much it. We fucking did it. Let's go, boys. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-byes. 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 ASMR. Okay.